Hello, everybody. I'm just gonna wait one more minute just to see if any more folks come in. We already have some folks waiting here. Um, as we're waiting, though, I'll introduce myself. My name is Jordan. I'm the Social Engagement and Communications Manager here at CDL. I'm really excited for tonight's webinar. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna wait till 6:02 and then I will begin our introductions just while a few people pop in. But it is recorded, so if you miss the first couple minutes or anything, you'll receive the recording right after we're done the presentation and it'll go automatically to your email. So if you do miss anything or you have to leave a bit early or hop out, fear not, you will receive a recording. So again, my name is Jordan. I'm the Social Engagement and Communications Manager at CDL. So I want to introduce Andrea. Andrea is a learning strategist and assistive technologist with over 20 years of experience supporting students, families, and schools. She helps older students, especially those with learning challenges, build strategies and use technology to become confident, independent learners. Andrea also works with schools to strengthen learning support and provides training for educators. So, Andrea, I'm going to pass it off to you and you can go ahead and get started.
Thank you so much. And I just want to welcome everybody tonight. I'm going to share my slides. Oh, hold on one second. Okay, can you see that?
Perfect. That looks great.
Okay, so welcome tonight to a parent's stress-free guide to summer school. And I know that today it is actually very difficult to imagine summer, but I promise you summer is on the horizon and it will be warmer weather. And tonight is about preparing our students, our the children we care for, or our learners for summer and for summer school. So that's what we're here for because I believe that prevention and knowing what we're going to be facing and getting prepared for that is way better than finding that we are stuck in a situation or we need to be reactive once a situation begins. So let's talk about how to prepare for summer school. And my slide's not advancing. Ah, there we go. So as Jordan said, my name is Andrea Zians, and I have just launched my own private practice and academic services company. My background is in special education, and not to repeat Jordan, but I have worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of high school and post-secondary students, both as a learning strategist and assistive technologist. I have done accommodation planning, accessibility work, even teaching, leading a high school. And my new business is all about helping students and their families and their caregivers find academic success. And I also support their schools because I believe success is this holistic thing. And we have to support learners, their families, and the institutions they're coming from. So the first thing is, oh, and I just would like to go back one slide. We do have a poll. And I would like to say that I am very comfortable if anybody wants to ask a question in the middle of while I'm going through this, or I've also left time at the end. So if you have a question, put it in the chat and Jordan will just alert me to it. So I've asked Jordan to put together a poll because I'd like to learn a little bit more about who's here and what it is you're interested in learning. So let's do the poll, Jordan. Can I see it if I'm sharing my screen or should I stop sharing?
It should pop up right away on
Okay.
everyone's screen for the poll.
All right.
So
So I think I need to stop sharing. Let's see. So I don't see the pool. Do you see the pool?
I see it on my end. And it's also in the chat as well.
Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so the question I really would like to know is which group would you like to learn more about regarding summer school? So are you interested in post-secondary or secondary?
I have 67% of voters are with the high school students right now, and then I have 33% that want to learn more about both.
Okay, awesome. Go ahead, let's do the next question.
Okay. Um,
And did you put the next question in?
yes, currently
Got it.
right now we have four responses and we're 50-50 with online and not yet decided.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Go back to sharing my screen. That's helpful. Thank you. So really what tonight is about summer school for both groups. And it's it's also about just courses in general. And it can apply to any student who wants to take any type of independent study because you can also take credits independently in high school and at college. So this is about independent learning and sometimes even a faster paced learning. So the very first question is, why do we dread summer school? Sometimes the word summer school is sort of like saying root canal. People have an inherent, worry, and just it brings up a physiological response almost when we think of the word summer school. And there's many reasons for it. The first is, I think there is a little bit of stigma from my generation. I think it's less than now, but we tend to think of summer school as something somebody has to do because they didn't do well the first time around. There's also this idea that it is so rapid. It's a rapid fire type environment. Students who take summer school often are squeezing a full semester or an entire year into about a 5 or 6 week, sometimes even an 8 week course. That is pretty intense. And if there is any challenge that you would have during the regular semester, it's going to be magnified in a summer school course or in a very rapid, fast paced environment like this. Summer school calls on us to develop new skills and skills which students who struggle perhaps with certain just challenges academically with organization, time management, and planning, those skills are actually really crucial to summer school. And when you get stuck in summer school, it's very challenging to get unstuck. And that's actually one of the topics we're going to review tonight. Students need to work independently, and let's face it, in this rapid, fast paced environment, there's just less room for error. Now, I don't want to scare you because there is, trying to figure out how to advance these slides, there is also some benefits to summer school. I think I'm a fan of summer school, and I have advised over the years many students, even students with learning challenges, students with neurodiversity, that summer school is a great option. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, you're going to see tonight that there are great skills that can be developed in summer school. And you can learn to become an independent student. You can nurture your own learning. You need to be a little bit more resourceful. Summer school is also, in and of itself, a whole learning strategy. Because let's face it, there are some students who just need more time with certain amounts of the curriculum or certain pieces of the curriculum. And I don't think there's any shame in repeating something or previewing something so that you get the best educational experience possible. The other thing, which is really great about summer school, is that if you take summer school, whether you're in high school or you're in college or university, sometimes that's a strategy that enables you to get a spare or to have extra time during the school year. When I worked with accessible learning in the college setting, it was actually part of the way we help students get their accommodations. If you need more time, if you need to be able to focus on more tutoring or perhaps some type of a therapy, or you just need more time to study, taking a summer school course gives you that flexibility. So there are really some great benefits to summer school. So I don't want to just, leave you with the feeling that it's dreadful. There's great things, and that's what we're here to talk about tonight. So when we talk about, I'll just make a comment about post-secondary versus high school. So the main difference with post-secondary and high school is, I think, like I don't know every variation out there, but post-secondary summer school programs are not as fast-paced and as intense. And that is simply because there's a summer semester. And each semester is generally about 12 weeks of like in class, maybe 14 weeks with some exams. And the summer semester is the same amount of time. One thing that could be a bit different in a post-secondary environment is that sometimes the teachers will shift and switch in the middle of the semester, and that's just around accommodating vacations. And then that's a little bit of a hurdle some students have to get over, but it's not that major. When we think of a high school summer school course, that's where it's very rapid fire, fast paced, because the summer is much more condensed than a regular semester. So I hope that helps people who are considering or thinking about post-secondary summer school courses. But a lot of what we're talking about today applies to those courses as well. So some courses are online. Jordan, I don't know if you can remind me how many people were in the poll were taking online courses.
Let me just pull that right back up again. One second. It was 50-50. So we had three people online and then three people not decided yet.
Got it. Okay, so let's maybe tonight might even help you decide. So online, students need to manage quite a bit. So for some students, there could be a brand new learning management system. They need to develop skills for an online course. Like we're going to go through all those skills tonight, things like posting on discussion boards, introducing yourself online, communicating with a remote teacher, figuring out how to manage things like office hours online. So online is a very unique and different experience, and students need to adapt to that. Good news is if you can adapt to that, you are really getting yourself prepared and ready for university or college, because a lot of that, all these things are part of a university and college course. It's great prep. In person has some challenges too. It's again rapid fire and intense, but I know for a fact that students are taking summer school courses at all different locations. And sometimes even transportation can be an issue. I know for my own children, when they would be interested in a summer school course, I couldn't always get them there, and they had to learn how to travel, take a bus, get there independently. So that can be a new skill you've got to think about. It is a super long day, and you're dedicated to just one subject with less outdoor time and just less time to let off steam. I personally think I would have difficulty with that because I need a little bit more time to just have breaks and move around. So students may find that can be a little bit more challenging. They do get more in-person support from a teacher, and it's so much easier to know and see that face when you have to reach out. But again, there are new systems, new locations, new ways of doing things. So we're going to chat tonight about the kinds of challenges that are in summer school. And this is true for all students. And it doesn't matter whether you've had a challenging academic career, whether you're a student with neurodiversity, all students, they truthfully have struggles in summer school, but all students can overcome those struggles. So a very quick tip before we even begin to get into the presentation is if you have a student that you are supporting, it is so important if they have either accommodations or an IEP to really double check that's all set up before you begin and get the early communication to the teacher right off the bat concerning what that student is going to need, because a student shouldn't wait to put something into place that they know for a fact they're going to need. Some students are not sure if they're going to need it. That's fine. But if you know you need something, get that conversation started right away and make sure it's all set up. So the common challenges we're going to chat about tonight is communication, because communication can be a unique and specific challenge to an online or summer school course. Organization, planning, and time management are our favorite topic because, like I said, if you struggle with that during the year, it's going to be even more challenging during the summer. And we're going to talk about what happens when you get stuck, because every student at some point will get stuck in summer school. So I'm going to go back because the slide is not loading properly. Let me try one more time. Okay, there we go. So like I mentioned, there will be new systems, new communication systems in summer school. I will give you a couple of examples. I worked with a student who was she was in a private school. And then when she took summer school, she went from Google Classroom to Microsoft. And that in and of itself was it was an overwhelming thing for him. And this can also happen even with an in-person class. She had to figure out how to get into her email, how to connect with teachers, how to find email addresses. She was so used to working in the Google Drive, and now she was working in the OneDrive. Sometimes systems are not compatible, and it can create a whole new level of complexity when you start in a summer school. Because let's face it, you could be in a different school system. You could be taking it privately. You could be taking it at a different location, a different school board. It's just, there are challenges. So know the fact that there are new systems, and that includes the way we communicate with our teacher in terms of when we have trouble and how we communicate with peers when we're in an online environment. All of that brand new. The other thing about summer school is it can produce more social anxiety for a student, especially around things like posting on discussion boards. I have seen students who just get hung up on, even like something like an introduction, which isn't worth any points on a discussion board. They spend so much time worrying about, I don't know what to say about me. I'm looking at everybody else. And the people in this class, they have businesses and they've traveled the world and they're so exciting. And I'm just me. I don't know what to say. People get hung up on things like that. And it's really challenging because social anxiety can actually play a role even in an online environment. So we have discussion boards, emailing a teacher we don't know. All of these things produce social anxiety. Being in a classroom with new peers, a new teacher, putting your hand up, talking, asking for help, all of these things can provoke a little bit more anxiety in a student who tends to have social anxiety. And then there is a lag. There is always a lag with communication in general when we have to email teachers. But when we're in a summer school course and you need to know something right away, because let's say you're stuck, you've got a question or an assignment, which is the due date's approaching really quickly, and you need some help from that teacher and you send an email, there can be a lag in terms of how quickly they get back. Now, in my opinion, most summer school teachers respond pretty quickly, but you have the weekend, right? And there are times when they're not available. And this is when your learner has decided to do this assignment, maybe late at night, and now they're stuck. There's a question. You may not get the answer till the next day. So there is actually a bit of a time lag with communication issues. Normally, we have this in the regular school environment, but time is not as pressing as it is in the summer school environment. So how do we handle this? Again, I'm going to just try one more time to see if we can get the slides to go. I don't know why the slides aren't loading properly. So I find the most important thing to do, and I do this both for the students I support and for my own children, is to provide a lot more extra support around communication. What do I mean? So if there is an email that needs to be sent, give a little bit more support to your student, to your learner in crafting that email. The reason for that is because you get to teach something called self-advocacy. You get to teach a student how to communicate with a teacher when they're stuck or they need something. But more importantly, you get to make sure that the question is really expressing what that student needs. I'll give you an example. If a student doesn't know how to handle an assignment or they have a question around content and their question is too vague, or they haven't pointed out exactly what it is they're stuck with, it could be a specific question, they then will get an email response, which will either be asking for more feedback or more input, or maybe answering the question entirely wrong, thereby contributing to even more of a lag. So I have always found that this is, we talk about parental involvement. This is actually a great place to be involved and support a student with getting that email, making sure it's professional, making sure you're advocating for yourself and saying what it is you need and getting the kind of support you look for. So I will actually sit down and help that student write that email. The other thing, and this is a really important message always in life for our students, is when you're dealing with social anxiety and you're looking at the discussion boards, or you're listening to people put up their hand and you think they have so much, what they're saying is so much better than yours. Don't aim for perfection. And we always need to remind ourselves that it is actually a thinking error that we believe there's a spotlight on what we do. And most of the time, what students post, other students are not even reading unless they have to. And that sometimes they have to, sometimes that's part of the course, is to develop a bit of a community and respond to other people's posts. But nobody is judging you. Most people don't even know who you are, because right now you're just another name on the online learning class. So don't aim for perfection. Don't judge yourself and don't judge your work. Really, one of the keys to online communication is just get it done. Get it done and make sure, find out if there's some grades attached to it, that you're doing it correctly, but don't aim for perfection. And then another really important thing is use office hours. So in an online environment, teachers will post how you can connect with them, and usually it's every day when you're stuck or you need to clarify an assignment. I have met a lot of students who just don't want to attend those things, and it's simply because of social anxiety. So a lot of times, just like I can't see the people that I'm communicating with now, there are some teachers who just field questions on chat, or it's an opportunity to listen to what other people are struggling with. Whatever it is, I think one of the most important things a student needs to do is attend those office hours, because even if there isn't something that you're specifically struggling with today, you will listen to other people, find out they may be, attempting an assignment 2 steps ahead of you. You're going to learn more about what other people are struggling with and what the teacher's responding than you will by not attending that office hour. So let's not be aiming for perfection or judging ourselves or judging, how we look or on camera or in the discussion boards. Just go and just set yourself up for success. So office hours, it applies as well for an in-person course. And find out, usually teachers will be providing some level of support. Find out, have this, if it's not explicit, if the teacher hasn't addressed it or put it in the course syllabus, make sure that your learner goes and finds out, if I need to ask some more help, if I need more help with some of this math or some of this chemistry, or, if I don't really understand an assignment, how can I access your help? So communication, set it up day one, support with emails, aim for getting it done, not perfection, and always, always, always go to office hours. Now, the next one is organization, time management, and planning. And this one is tricky because a lot of students struggle with these things during the rest of the school year. So in a summer school environment, it's even more intense. So let's just review how a student who may not even struggle with this, but now finds himself in a summer school rapid fire course, will find organization, time management, and planning impacts them. So when you're in a summer school course, sometimes it's a little bit more independent. You need to know what to do. You need to know what to do every day, and you need to know what to do almost every moment. And it's not always so clear if you're in an online course. You need to know always, whether you're in person or whether you're taking an online class, when are your due dates? What are you working towards? When does it all need to be put in, like the final date of everything being submitted? Are there submission dates along the way? Those need to be gathered right away. You need to also know there are going to be a lot of tasks. What do you do for each and every task? And you need to keep track of it, and you need to make sure that you are not only getting it done, but that you're completing it and that you're checking that it matches the rubric and that you're meeting assignment expectations. So I'm going to talk about some strategies for, I recently heard a lecturer, an ADHD lecturer from New York, and he refers to organization, planning, and time management as OPTM. So I put down OPTM for organization, planning, and time management. So some strategies that are specific to summer school, but that are great for all year round, is setting yourself up before the course begins for success. So, what does your learner prefer? Are they a digital person? Do they like to have they been using Google Calendar all year round? Are they a paper and pen person? Do they need sticky notes? Do they need a day timer? Make sure that that's ready to go and that they're ready to use that from the start of the course. The other thing is you need to help that student. I find until they're a little bit older or they've taken one or two courses on their own, it's really important to sit down the first day, open up that learning management plan or open up the course outline, and take a look at all the modules and take a look at what all the due dates are. Generally, there should be some idea of what the full semester will look like, but not all the work may be released at once. So for some classes, it could be released as you do completion, but you should have an idea of where you're heading, big picture, and you should be able to see at the start of each module what's due when and how quickly. You need to really make sure that all those due dates get posted somewhere and that the student is tracking that. One of the things that I have found from supporting students is when you're in a high school summer school course, there seems to be about enough modules to fit all weeks of the summer school program, maybe one or two more. And there are quite a few units making up modules to, let's start again. There are usually about 4 or 5 units and modules within those units. So when you look at that, that can get scheduled out really smoothly. That could look like Unit 1 has 10 modules, Unit 2 has 8 modules, Unit 3 has 12 modules. And when you think of it, you're almost doing one or two modules a day. And that could include discussion boards. It could include doing some type of worksheet, reading assignment, commenting, short answers. There's a wide range of things you could be doing in those modules. You need to schedule it out. And I have seen when students schedule it out really, really well, they are in control of their schedule in a way that it's phenomenal. So a student can actually schedule around, let's say they have a family wedding or they want to go with the family on a Sunday. You think of summer school as I need to be spending every day sitting and studying. Maybe, but you could also, if you are very strategic about the units and the modules, and you know, well, these are short modules and these are the kinds of things that I'm comfortable with, and this is a bit of a bigger module. Why don't I sandwich a little bit of this with this bigger module and then a little bit of that with that? You can be very strategic in how you plan out your modules, giving yourself time for the things you want to still do and enjoy the summer. And you should aim to do, like I said, about a unit a day and break everything down into small, manageable chunks, work from a checklist, and set yourself a working schedule. So students, this is their job. 9 to 5, they should be working. Or if they've got something else in the morning and some kind of a job, they come home and they've got a set routine that is devoted to getting through their course. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about getting stuck because students do get stuck. Students get stuck all the time throughout the year. But when you get stuck in summer school, it's a little bit more intense because, like I said, we've just reviewed the rapid pace of a summer school program. And if you're stuck with one assignment or you're stuck with one module, you can just really, it's almost like a domino effect where it's like you knock over this one and then all of a sudden this domino doesn't keep going. And now you're waiting. We got to get that domino knocked over to finish off that course. So getting stuck can cause you to just, not complete work. You can get stuck because there's just too much work and you don't know how to manage and you don't know how do I get through all of this work. Some students can perseverate, which means that they just can't get past one assignment. There's always that one assignment that is just very challenging and too much time gets spent on it. Like I said, part of the art of summer school is knowing that we're aiming to do really well and to do our best, but we can't be perfect. And sometimes we need to just reach out to the teacher, and sometimes we need to aim for good enough to get it done so I don't lose marks, because getting stuck on one assignment is a real problem in summer school, especially if you can't move on to other things or if it contains foundational work. Sometimes students are stuck because they don't understand the assignment. I have seen where students don't understand an assignment and they can actually go back and forth with the teacher trying to clarify it, because let's face it, in an online environment it can be difficult to communicate, and it can be difficult to understand what exactly it is the teacher is looking for. Again, go back to the idea of get that student to office hours, get that student writing a very clear email, and then you will be able to help that student unravel what it is that is wanted for that assignment. Sometimes it's just, the way you've read it didn't make sense. Also, another tip for not knowing how to proceed is sometimes teachers will have your classmates post things in a discussion board. Sometimes you can look at what they're doing to get an idea like, how far off am I from what I think I should be doing? And there are challenging materials in summer school. So you could be taking summer school because it's the course you love the most and you do really well in, and this is a great way to get a spare. Or you could be taking summer school because, let's face it, this was a tough course and you need to take it a second time. Material, content, math, chemistry, biology, English, it can be challenging. So one of the things I recommend is, and I will have some resources that we're going to review towards the end of the PowerPoint. If you have a tutor, get that tutor set up in advance. And the reason for that is it's almost impossible to find somebody in the middle of July who's ready, sitting around and waiting to tutor. And it could be like week 2 of the course that you need that person. So if you are anticipating challenges or you have struggles, find now somebody who will be around in the summer who your student can turn to when they need help with content. And another thing that can get students stuck is when they miss foundational content. Again, a tutor, attending office hours, working with a teacher can really address both of those two issues. So, I've done some of the strategies already. So connect with the teacher, parenting help. We're going to talk a little bit today about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is also a really great way to get unstuck. And I want to be very clear, because often when I start talking about AI, people think I'm suggesting that students use ChatGPT to do their work. And that is the last thing I would ever recommend. I am a big proponent, though, of ChatGPT being used properly and being used in alignment with the school's academic integrity policy. And ChatGPT or Microsoft Pilot or Gemini or any of the things that your students or you might have in your own computers at home are a great way for a student to be able to clarify an assignment question. I have seen students put word problems in and say, ChatGPT, this is what I got. I'm not 100% sure why this is the answer. Could you please review with me why I got this, or why this doesn't feel right, or explain to me what exactly does this mean? The teacher's asking me to use a specific type of math problem or a specific way the question was phrased. You can ask ChatGPT to rephrase things. You can also ask ChatGPT to help you clarify what you think you understand and help you bridge it to the next place, because let's face it, you may still be grappling through it. I do want to stress, and this is part of creating learners who are comfortable with using AI, we cannot rely completely on AI. We need to always double check, go back to the material, go back to what you're learning, go back to your textbook. Did that answer make sense? I will give you a quick example of why you always have to double check. I was working with within a high school program with a group of students, and some of the students on their own turned to ChatGPT to clarify a word problem that most of them got hung up on. And one of the things that they did in the process of saying, this is my answer, help me go through it and make me understand why I did it, two students were given two totally different outcomes from ChatGPT. So be wary, use it properly, and use it with a little bit of oversight if it's at the beginning of using AI. But AI can help clarify a student when they are stuck. And there will be more suggestions around ChatGPT as I move through the presentation. Another really important thing is being aware of the weight of each assignment. Sometimes we're stuck on something that just really doesn't add up to a lot of points, and it's just not worth being stuck for that long. So if you're stuck or your learner is stuck on something that's maybe worth 1 or 2 points of your total mark, it's not worth it. Get help or just move on. So be aware of the weight of each and every assignment. So now I want to chat about some of the resources that are available to people who are in summer school. So again, resources are the things we turn to when the content just needs a little bit more clarification. It's never the answer for skipping what's in the online learning platform or not paying attention to what's going on in the classroom. So something like Cole's Notes and Spark Notes, that is exactly what I'm referring to. So if a student is taking English and there is a really complicated text that they're grappling with, don't use Cole Notes like, some of us may be remembering from our youth to help you figure out how to do that essay. But you could use Cole Notes to understand more about the characters. And you could use that to help you understand maybe even what is Shakespeare trying to say here, and then go back and make more sense of the actual original text you need to read. So lean on these things to help, but not to replace the actual text or the learning you're meant to be doing. Um, so Cole's Notes, Spark Notes. Another great resource for students who are taking math and science is Khan Academy. I love something called Math Tutor DVD on YouTube. I did not write that down here, but Math Tutor DVD is a great resource for learning math. Most of the videos on YouTube cover most of his content, but he does also charge for some of his content. But I have myself used his coursework to get through a statistics course I had to take. ChatGPT can be great for helping you plan out work. You can put a rubric into ChatGPT and you can say, ChatGPT, this is my writing assignment. Here is the rubric. Can you tell me what will an A+ paper include or look like? Or you can say, ChatGPT, this is my assignment. I've got 1 week to do it. I've got this many hours a night. Help me develop a plan. And I need to read, I need to do this. Give it a little bit more information and let ChatGPT give you a recipe for getting that assignment done. Also, I want to mention there are some fantastic note-taking apps. Some students are able to take notes in class, and some students need to record lecture. Again, this may depend on what's on your IEP. This may depend on whether in your post-secondary or you're in secondary. But there are apps out there for students who, now we're going to refer specifically to the online environment. You may need to be listening to a YouTube lecture. There could be something that the professor or the teacher has posted that is a little bit more of a lecture style. Open up one of these apps on your computer screen. Messenger Pigeon is a Canadian app. I know the person who's developed the app and owns the app. It's a phenomenal app. You can actually take the record, listen to that lecture, open up the app, record the YouTube or the lecture, that online lecture, and you will then get a transcript that you can then work with and create, flashcards or questions with by using an app when you need to listen to an online lecture. Another great resource is Studio. That is a website slash app that I have just actually found out about. I met with the owner of that app. What Studio is it's a great, it's free, and you can put in there every one of your assignments. So if you're not a Google person, you don't already have a calendar set up, or you don't have a day timer set up, consider Studio. Studio enables you to put every assignment and a due date. But what I love about it is it enables you to do something called a task analysis. So remember I said ask ChatGPT to help you divide up this into a work plan. You can create a great work plan for yourself in Studio. So let's say you have a book report. You would put the end date in Studio, which would be, let's say, the end of the week. And now you need to quickly read something. Um, you need to find some things out about the characters. You need to pull together a rough draft. You need to be able to edit it. All of those things can be added in the amount of time you need and a due date for all of those things. It's really great for the final summative assessment. That a lot of times some of these courses have a bigger project that you can actually schedule out using something like Studio. So consider using apps or different pieces of technology to really help just lighten the load of summer school. And then there are sticky notes. Sticky notes are great because I find students can put sticky notes everywhere to remind themselves of what needs to be done for that day. And there's nothing better than ripping up a sticky note when you've accomplished your goal. And there are also sticky notes available in most operating systems that you can actually just open up on your computer and start, plastering virtually or on top of your computer sticky notes for what you need to do. There are really so many different things that a student, we really started off by talking about the challenges and the fast pace and all the things that a student will be responsible for doing. But if you keep it in perspective and you remember there are resources and you teach a student how to use resources, you're actually setting them up for something way bigger than summer school, and that is academic success. And that is learning a little bit more about how learning can happen without being in front of a teacher. You're also helping them to develop a lot of independence. And when a student learns to navigate in a new online platform, they have built in a skill set that they will take with them into the post-secondary setting. And the skills and the things that can be gained from summer school, I believe, far outweigh any of the things that we talked about that make it a challenge. So yes, it's challenging. Let's face it. Let's be realistic. Let's plan for it. Set up tutoring, set up schedules, get those apps, go back and review some of the apps in this website, trial them before you even get there, and you should be pretty much ready to get that learner ready to go. So my best piece of advice, work at set times. Do check-ins with parents, tutors, someone like me, an academic coach. Stick to plans. Make sure you stick to plans. And when you can't stick to plans, when that learner's stuck, put into action right away. Office hours, emails to teachers, one of the resources mentioned in this PowerPoint. And always aim for completion, not perfection. Now, I have added some interesting prompts for ChatGPT that I mentioned some of them, but you can go through when you have the opportunity that you can go back and look at these prompts, because these prompts can really help support a student who is working very independently over the summer. And at this point, I am going to stop sharing. I'm just going to share that this slide, I hope that the joke doesn't get lost, but this is my summer school of fish. And I'm going to take questions now. Oh, sorry, before one last slide. Um, I just wanted to mention before I finish that I do run summer school support. I have workshops and I do have coaching. And anybody who is here will be able to mention CDL, and I will be giving a $100 discount, whether you are working with me in a group or one-to-one. And I can go back to that at the end to just review a little bit more about that. So let's stop sharing. and I'm happy to take questions. I don't know if you have the ability to turn your microphones on, but let's have a great discussion.
Yeah, so
Does anybody have questions?
you can either type it in the chat, or if you wanted to turn your microphone on and ask a question, you should have the ability to do that. If not, you could type it in the chat, or even in our Q&A section, we do have an anonymous question that you can leave if you like. But yeah.
Hello?
That could be a great sign, or that could be a not great sign.
No, no, no. I just want to ask a quick question. I had to join late because my son had basketball. Um, but I do know that my daughter has a spot in tutoring in the summer. I just haven't received the final calendar. Do you know when that might be coming out?
Oh, are you talking about the school board?
No.
So
Oh,
Emily, I think that might be a
Yes.
question best suited for Samantha, our one-on-one tutoring coordinator.
Okay.
Emily has her own tutoring services that she's mentioning, so it might be different from what you're expecting.
Oh, I don't know. Like this meeting just appeared in my mailbox. So is this about the one-on-one tutoring in the summer?
Nope, no. This is just
Oh,
one of the free workshops that you would have expressed interest in enrolling when you applied for any of our programming.
okay. I'm so sorry. My apologies. I didn't, and tuned in late, so I didn't really know what was going on. Okay, I am so sorry.
this was more about how to support somebody who's taking summer school course
Oh,
beyond what the tutor will be providing for them.
okay. Okay. Understood now. Thank you
Right.
so much. I'm
No,
sorry to
no
interject.
apologies. It's worth it to go back and take a look if you definitely have a learner who will be taking summer school,
Yep.
because we really outline some of the challenges with summer school and some of the situations people will find themselves in, and how a parent can really provide that bridge and that support to a student.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Okay. Sorry about that again.
no worries. Any
Okay.
questions? Does anybody want to ask me about any of the strategies or some of the different apps I've mentioned?
Miss, I was gonna ask, when someone's falling like really behind and they're trying to keep up with everything at the same time and be productive, how can I try and just like not feel discouraged with myself, if that makes sense?
That's a really good question. So why I chose this topic is because I
Mm-hmm.
think if you know that if you know you fall behind, are you
Mm-hmm.
taking summer school this
Well,
semester?
I'm at St. Mary's right now. I'm just finishing off my grade 12 year, and that's why I'm taking summer school because I'm 19, and I think at that age, like that's pretty old for a high school student, and I don't think they want me to be there, so that's why I'm applying for summer school.
Okay, well, Michael, first of all, you're never too old to learn, and
Absolutely not, miss.
you're
That's for
never too
sure.
old to learn, and schools always want you. And
Mm-hmm.
really, a good school should want you to be able to move at your pace and in a way
Mm-hmm.
that's good for you. So whatever it is, you're kind of don't psych yourself out. But
Okay.
summer school is a great way to give yourself that boost, to get yourself to where you want to go if you need to get an extra credit. So
Yep.
what I would recommend is you've listened to this presentation.
Mm-hmm.
If there are things that you know cause you to get, you know, fall behind,
Mm-hmm.
then that's the best advice you can give yourself. That's the best information you can have, because
Okay.
you're already further ahead than somebody who starts a summer school course,
Mm-hmm.
gets behind, and they didn't even realize that that was going to possibly happen.
Yeah.
So being prepared, sitting down, go to your guidance counselor, go to a parent or a caregiver, somebody, go to CDL, make a plan for your summer
Mm-hmm.
and make a plan for the kinds of supports and resources you're going to need so that you can get through that summer school course and you can get through it well. That can look like tutoring. It
Mm-hmm.
can look like, somebody to check in with. It can
Mm-hmm.
look like setting up a great study schedule.
Mm-hmm.
It could look like a wide range of things. And that's why I say summer school sometimes is an opportunity to take something once, twice. If you
Right.
have to take a course twice, it's not a terrible thing. As long as you get to where you're going, summer school can be a strategy to help a person do that. So try not to, be harsh on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets to where they need to go.
Yeah.
And this is a tool that you can use, but have some really good conversations before you start your summer school
Okay.
program.
Mm-hmm.
Anticipate the things that are going to be a problem for you. So if you're taking a summer school course, is it a course that you do really well in? Is it a course you're anticipating struggling in? Whichever is the right answer, there will be different types of challenges. So if it's
Okay.
something you struggle in, can you get more tutoring? Can you work with CDL? Do
Mm-hmm.
you have a friend? Do you have a family member? Is there somebody who can support you when you get stuck? But
Right.
really, if you're working and you're anticipating challenges, you're going to find it's much easier. And there are strategies for everything. So now it is May 21. The summer school is about a month or so. How far away is summer school? Probably a little bit more than a month.
Yeah, I was
That
gonna
gives
say,
you
yeah.
ample time to
Mm-hmm.
make those connections with people and to have those conversations and to just to find a lot more success.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also doing online too, so I'm just trying to find some strategies, like just in case like I don't fall behind, just so like I'm prepared to expect what I'm supposed to see.
So again, when you get that course open, and this applies to every parent, every
Mm-hmm.
learner, every caregiver, anybody on this call, the
Yeah.
first and the most important thing you're going to do is I always think of the minute that summer school course opens up, like I almost visualize in my mind all the runners in a track, and then they shoot they shoot the starter
The
gun and
shoot the
everybody
gun, yeah.
runs.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be like literally like just on your spot on that track, and the second that thing opens, you're good to go. Get into that
Mm-hmm.
summer school course.
Yeah.
Find your due dates. Find what are some of the assignments. You already, Michael, have expressed a lot of self awareness. What will you be the most challenged with? Get the support in advance as soon as you see it. Find out what is that learning management system. Is it the one you're using at St. Mary's? Is it different? Learn, spend a bit of time navigating it. Look for your drop boxes, look for your discussion boards, look for how you're going to
Mm-hmm.
email your teacher.
Yeah.
Really give yourself a great orientation to the actual learning management system, the content, and then you should be able to get going right away and stick to your training, just like those runners. If they run, but they also train to run. So get
Mm-hmm.
yourself some training, get yourself some coaching, get yourself conversations with your teachers, and get yourself the support you need to do well this summer.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Miss. That really cleared a lot of everything I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask it earlier. It just didn't really occur to my mind until later on.
And I think that you highlighted that anybody who is here tonight, you're learning not just about summer school learning, you're learning about online learning too,
Mm-hmm.
right? And online learning
Yeah.
can be just a full year course. So there are
Mm-hmm.
some great strategies that you will pick up. And Michael, you sound like I've always assumed that my intuitions have always told me, and I've often found myself to be correct when I do presentations like this, or when I meet with students. The people who attend these presentations are the people who get the resources and supports put into place, and that really helps them. So good job that you're here tonight.
Thank you, Miss. I really appreciate that. And I'm glad that I joined this meeting because I feel like it just shows me the wider view of summer school. Like, it's not just summer school, it's also a way of people so they can finish off their high school careers, right? So they don't feel like that they weren't so successful, right?
If you're here, you're successful.
Yeah,
Good luck, Michael.
absolutely. Thank you, Miss.
Any other questions?
I just had one in the chat just asking
Oh,
about the slides. If you were, I know we had other resources we had talked about sharing, but I was just wanted to confirm if the slides were included in that, Andrea.
I will pull together a resource with a PDF, and I will
Yeah.
definitely send that to you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. But there was nothing else in the chat, and I know we still have 5 minutes left. So if anyone does have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat, or if Andrea, you had anything else that you wanted to talk about just as we wrap up. Yeah.
No, I'm just really happy to be here. I know that CDL provides a lot of support for learners, and I think that's fantastic. I am just one more resource now in the community. I do have a private business, but I'm definitely another resource that a person could go to
Mhm.
in addition to going to CDL. And I'm happy to support students. I'm happy to support parents. And like I said, if you mention whether you're seeing this on YouTube or you're here tonight with us in person, if you mention CDL, I am more than happy to give it a discount for summer school and summer school support this semester, 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. I will be sending out all the information after our call concludes and everything. Well, when Andrea sends me the PDFs and everything, then I can send that out. But if that is everything, I will also send over your email to all the attendees that registered, Andrea. That way, if they have any questions, maybe they didn't want to ask during the session, feel free to email and reach out. But if that is everything, I just want to say thank you from all of us at CDL, and I'm very happy there was a student in here who was able to come and get some support as well. That always warms my heart when we have students attend our workshops as well. So I just want to say thank you. And if that is everything, I'm gonna end the recording and then yeah. Oh, I
Have a great
see.
summer, everybody. Enjoy
Yeah.
summer school.
Okay, perfect. Olivia says, thank you, Andrea. This was a really great workshop.
Thank you, Olivia.
Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna wait 1 more minute and then I'm gonna end the recording. Okay, perfect. So